Hello, good afternoon, friends. Welcome to another Crafternoon. I'm sorry. Welcome to another Crafternoon. Today we are going to be working in our journal. I'm going to be working in my journal. You can do anything that your heart desires, but I am going to be working my journal today. I had a pretty busy weekend. I had a market, so like much of my time this weekend and the past, few days, like sometime this week was spent preparing for that. So I've kind of fallen a little bit behind in my diary, and so I'm going to show you how I diary in my Hobonichi planner, how I use this to document, record, plan, all of these things. So you are invited to bring your own planner and join me for an hour of planning or journaling or diary writing or whatever suits you. But I'm going to show you what I do. And maybe it'll inspire your making or your practice, because I love keeping a planner, but it's sometimes hard for me to maintain the practice. And so I think I'll share that with you guys today. So thanks for being here. Again, if I've not met you before, or we have never met, or you're new here, I'm Erica, and I am an artist and a teacher, and I, talk a lot about developing a creative practice and how creativity in a like regular habitual way is really good for me, and I think it might be good for you too. And if you want to try it, please join me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We only have about an hour. Hi, Viridiana. Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm going to show you what I'm working with today, the supplies I have with me, and then I'll show you what I do. And at any time, if you feel like chatting with me, go ahead and comment in the chat. Keep it all very nice and friendly, hopefully. I've always had amazing people in my live stream, so I expect the same. But you're welcome to ask questions, chat with each other, just keep it really friendly. And I will be sharing my process and my practice and everything that I do, okay? So first of all, I'll just tell you that I am a planner person. This is one of my planners. I am working this year. It's my first year using the Hobonichi cousin. I believe it's the cousin. Let's just pull this guy out. So I have a lot of junk in here. And I have a couple of other ones too. Yeah, it's the Hobonichi Techo cousin 2026. And I have been working in it since the beginning of the year. Sometimes when things get really busy, they just kind of it falls by the wayside, and that is, normal. It happens. And so I have some little lulls in my journal, but for the most part, I've been pretty good about keeping it. So I'm going to share it with you. I am an artist. Hi, Molly. You found me again. Came looking for what you were up to after meeting at Workshop Week. Oh, so nice to have you here, Molly. Thank you so much for returning. Yes, I am still doing lots of different things. This month, I'm doing something that I'm calling Crafternoon. And so every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Time, I just do something crafty or creative. So this month, I've been kind of experimenting with different things. I think last week, we did applique, and the time before that we did something else that I can't quite remember. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of journaling, right? So this is my Hobonichi. It has a monthly calendar. It has weekly as well, where you can kind of see the whole week at a glance. And then it has daily, 1 day pages. So I am, I enjoy, journaling. So I will come and spend some time writing in it. Now, I don't always just write, just write stuff. A lot of times what I do is I like to draw. As you probably know from being here, I want to kind of illustrate. And so this kind of gives me an opportunity to just doodle. but also gives me a chance to kind of record things that were meaningful or important. Hi, Gina. Welcome. Gina, it turned out so great. My banner, my craft table banner looked very good. I got a lot of compliments. I was like really worried that people were going to look really closely at it and see all my shoddy stitches, but everybody loved it. I had a lot of compliments. People really liked the tactile handmade quality of it. I think we're just really like hungry for that right now, right? With all of the AI stuff, it's really nice to see something that's just made by hand, raw, like imperfect, all of that. So this is kind of how I approach my journaling, right? So it is a special, like it's a day, so I can write out stuff that I'm going to do. There's a time like stamped section here, and usually I do write stuff here. And then in the rest of the page, I just like to draw. And I draw a few things, and I draw them from memory, which is definitely a skill that I'm not really good at. So it's a skill I've been practicing, and I feel like it's really helping me. I don't know. I'm somebody who relies a lot on images. So reference images. So I am practicing this, right? So I usually will try to do just a few different things from the day, 3 to 5 things, draw them out. If I can fit all 3 or 5 things, cool. If I can't, that's okay too. Sometimes I add a little bit of writing just to kind of remind myself of something or jot down feelings or things that I'm like, I want to recall. And I also have this little section here where I usually write down the things I want to do, right? So sometimes I do this in the morning, like these are my goals for the day, right? And these are the things I have planned. And then I come back and draw at night. I like to do a little bit of journaling in the morning if I have time. And I love to take my journal with me to my bed at night when I'm ready to go to bed. And sometimes I just write down things. Like I like to scroll sometimes. I know we all do. And so sometimes I'll just scroll like on TikTok, and then if I see something interesting, I'll jot it down. I like to keep it in my journal. And so I use this is how I use it. Of course, everybody has their own methods. I'm just going to share that with you today. So this was on Friday, and I was really busy on Saturday preparing for my market. And then so you can see I didn't do my journaling, but I sketched it in pencil so I could remember things. And so you can see on Sunday was a full busy day. I didn't really get to do anything. I just did a few sketches, and you can see I did a little bit on Monday, and then I sketched for today too. So I'm going to work on today's plan, right? Because this is what has already happened and things that I'm anticipating, right? So this is how I do it. I'm just going to share this with you. I also am going to share with you that I love to use stickers. And if you saw me at the market this weekend, I had a bunch of new sticker sheets that I made and was selling. And I anytime I have like ones that didn't print right or they didn't cut right, I keep them, and I just keep them in my journal so that way I can use them in my sketchbook or in my journal. This is, I don't remember what they call this. This is called a pencil board or something like that. And this is what they usually use, or a lot of people use when you're using the Hobonichi journal, because it is that River Tomo paper, which is very, very thin. It's very thin. It does support a lot of stuff. You can see I use marker here. At the beginning of the year, I use gouache on here. And you can see it does get a little wobbly, a little wavy, but I love that. See, when your book gets a little bit chunky, I love that. So I think everybody kind of enjoys that. So I have my little pencil board there, and I have some stickers here for me to use. I like to use in my journal these. I'm using at this point in time the Ohuhu Nahuku acrylic markers. These markers I just got last month maybe, and I love them. I have not had a feeling about my markers like I'm having with these. Usually I'm like, oh, these are cool. That's fine. I like them. But for these, I'm like, I really like them. I feel like they are just kind of like checking off all the boxes that I personally need in a marker. I like to have a variety of colors, of course, like all of us. But I also, where does this guy go? I know it doesn't go there, but whatever, we'll put it there. I love the brush tip. Let me show that to you in case you're not familiar with these, right? They have a brush tip right there. So this is like the perfect kind of marker tip for me. Gives me some flexibility. There's a lot of colors. I get to see the ink right here. I've already kind of like run out of a couple of them, which is a little concerning, but that's okay. But these are the ones I'm working with right now. I do think that an acrylic marker works really well in the Hobonichi, and pretty much a lot of my journals have that same paper, the River Tomo, and it works really well. You almost forgot, Kim, but you're here. Thank you for joining me. Welcome. Now, I also really like to do an outline. You can see like I outline my drawings with a pen. So for that, I'm using a micron pen. I'm not super happy with this pen right now. I haven't found one that I love. So, oh, you know what, you guys? I just remembered. Maybe I'll use the Fudenosuke. I keep forgetting to bring one, but let me get one right now if you don't mind me just finding one. These are the ones that I really like as well. My apologies for leaving the table. Here we go. Okay. I have been wanting to find a better pen. I like the micron. It works. I'm looking for something waterproof. But I don't love, for some reason, I don't love this tip. I don't know. It's just too square for me. And so I don't enjoy it. So sometimes I get like, especially when I write, I don't like the way my handwriting looks with it. So I had been meaning to switch over. And then I remembered I had all these Fudenosukes. I don't remember if these are waterproof. You guys, are these water-based? So they're not waterproof. So there we go. That's why I'm not going to like them. I just want something that's not going to smear when I come back on top of them. But I'm going to play with them. We'll see what happens. If I hate it, it doesn't really matter. This is just like a page in my journal. It's not a big deal. I like to have a pencil just to kind of sketch everything out, especially because one of the things I'm doing in my journal right now is practicing figure drawing by drawing my vision of what I might have looked like in yoga class today. So, I mean, I'm not great at figure drawing. I can draw figures if they are posing on a chair in front of me for 1 hour. I can do life drawing like that, but figures in motion are very hard for me. Weird positions of the body are hard for me. So this has been a really good exercise. I've been drawing, you can see, I've been drawing yoga poses and trying to practice figures, So the pencil, I definitely need it. It's a little juicier than a micron, the extra fine point Sharpie. Okay, so Kim, let me ask you about that one though. Isn't that one kind of square like this one? I feel like it has the same kind of point, which is ultimately my issue with the micron. I like the micron, but I wanted to have like kind of a more like a bullet tip. If you like micron, they have the PN tips, which I like better than their. What's a PN tip? Can you help me? I'm like never heard this before, but that's what I need because I like the pen. I just don't like the tip, and that's what's giving me issues. So I kind of sketched everything out with my pencil, and I have a pen for outlining, and then I try to pick a few colors, and I try to just stick with those colors there. It does, but it flows better for you. Yeah, okay, well that will be cool. I think like the only thing is that maybe a fine point would be too big for this page because I think it's a little bit bigger than this one. I mean, maybe it's about the same now that I think about it. Yeah, and then the Sharpie will also probably bleed. Have you tried it on the River Tomo paper? I'm curious. There are some materials that bleed through. Like the ink on my stamp pad bled through, which I was surprised at how much it bled. I mean, for the most part, I don't really have a lot of bleeding except for that ink pad. But I am curious to know if it would. Maybe we should test it. I have lots of scrap paper. I could test it. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start drawing. I can just show you how I do it. I invite you to try this in your journal. Like maybe you'll like it too. I don't know. I enjoy it because I feel like it's very, like it's not that serious. Plastic nib. That's what I need. I need a plastic nib. Doesn't bend like the felt tip microns. Yes, but But do they have microns with plastic nibs? Is that what you're saying to me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like, but because then yes, that's what I need. And where do I get them? Do they have them on like the Micron website or on Blick or something? Okay, so I'm going to start by working on this big figure here in the middle just because it's going to take up a lot of space and, you know, it's going to be like kind of a central element. So this is one of my yoga poses from this morning. I have been trying to develop a very regular yoga practice, and you guys, I didn't yoga this weekend because I was at the market out of town and I missed it so much. So I am so glad to be back doing some yoga on my mat. I've been having some foot pain, which is just crazy. Like it was just like something fell on my foot as I was loading my car this weekend, and I was just wearing like these like very cute Crocs that I got, and just like slammed, and so my foot is hurting and it's bruised, and I was just like, I have to be really gentle today when I go to yoga because I didn't want to be like, usually I think when you're doing like all the warrior poses and your toes are bent, like my toes cannot handle that right now. So I was trying to be gentle, and even though I was a little worried about my toes hurting, they did great. My toes did wonderful, and I really needed to get back on the mat. So I'm glad I did. So I'm going to draw like just very loose. And the beautiful thing about these markers is that if you kind of draw something in the wrong place, they're opaque. So I could just draw right on top of this. I can, I don't even really have to leave those gaps for the arms. I can just draw through it and then put the arms on later with another color. It works great, okay? Let me see your all's chat. You're just trying to add a link from Amazon. Oh, okay, so they do have them on Amazon too. You might like the pen and the micron. I think it has less square. Yes, Molly, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I don't like the square. Okay, I'm gonna look for them on Amazon. Amazing, thank you for sharing that. It's almost like a size. You can, oh, okay, so maybe I've seen the pen. I've seen the brush. I just hadn't seen the pen. That's so good to know. Thank you, Lively. Very sweet. Okay, now I am what would we call this? Like a limited palette girl. So if I pick a color for like the outfit, right? Then I'm probably going to be using these colors for everything else. And it's a little, strange maybe because I'm going to be putting it in here, like on the plants that I'm planning to repot. I got some plants this weekend and I would like to put them in. I need to like today get them repotted because I'm notorious for buying the plants, bringing the plants home and letting them root rot while I wait for the perfect time to repot them. And I'm not going to let that happen this time, I swear. So I'm going to get those into bigger, better pots today. So I'm putting a little doodle here for the plants that I got. One of them was a variegated ficus, I think it was called, and it had pink and like green leaves, which is really, really beautiful. So I'm bringing in a new color, right? So these were my original ones. I added another color, and I think I'm going to add one more. I have a plan. I have an idea. So feel free to use any of the colors you like. You do not have to do a limited palette like I do. I just like it. And so I have a tendency to kind of stick with the same colors that I enjoy. And I love to come back and look at the end product, and it all looks really like, it looks very intentional because the colors are similar. Now, it's not always very intentional, but it looks like it is, and that's all that matters. But, the more I do this, the more I'm like, I have a plan. I have a system. And so to me, it does actually become intentional because I am, thinking about which colors I want to use. I'm also going to bring a brown in, and I'll probably bring a lighter shade too, or maybe something like, I like this kind of grayish color. I just need something that I can like give it a little contrast. The only reason why I know about the pen is because it came, oh, in an Art Snacks box. Cool. That is very cool. And that is, I guess, that's a big reason why those boxes are pretty cool, because you're going to learn about materials that maybe you didn't know. And, you know, I'm always really amazed because, you know, as a high school art teacher, I know about a lot of materials, right? I use a lot of stuff. I know about cheap stuff. I know about good stuff. But I learn so much from everyone else, like other artists. And so I thank you so much for sharing this, because I'm like, wow, I had no idea that existed. And so I appreciate you sharing that. Amazing. Okay, so I'm kind of, I like to call myself a lazy artist, but I think I'm more like, I'm very efficient. I think we were talking about this last time, that I'm very fast. I mean, I work pretty fast. That's just kind of my style. But so one of the things that I think helps me work quickly is that if I have a color in my hand, I'm going to look for all the places I can put that color before I put it down. And so that usually means that I work pretty quickly. And so I'm just kind of scanning the page as I go to find the best places to put this color. I was going to draw this really weird. I mean, it's giving like Popeye for me. Like, my toe is hurting, right? So I was like trying to floss the nerve, and it hurts a lot. But I just kind of moving it back and forth has been really nice. So I wanted to draw that, which is kind of weird. And I don't know, it does remind me a little bit of like, it's not olive oil, but I was thinking one of the characters that I feel like this would look like a Popeye's character foot, if you know what I'm talking about. I don't know, because Popeyes might be a little too old for some of you guys. Not sure, but okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in another new color here. So I got myself, for my birthday that's coming up in a couple of weeks, I got myself some bagus. I was like, I'm going to probably return one. So that's what I said I was going to do. But now that they're here, I want them both. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I thought I would draw them here because they were delivered today. My bagu blurred gingham. It's a big bag, and I thought maybe this would be a really good bag for me to use for school next year, because my bag that I used last year is still great, but I like a pen bled on it, and it's all like, it's got all these marks. I wonder if I can wash it out, but I feel like that just makes it more like art teacher vibes, you know, when a pen bleeds on it. Okay, so this is kind of my darkest, well, maybe the purple, but this is one of my darker colors. So whenever I discover like this is a dark color, I'm going to use it for anything that has dark. So the soil in these pots, right? I'm going to say that they're going to be this color, even though that's not necessarily like a good color for that. Maybe it is. I'm going to do, I think, pink for the basil back here. I bought a little basil plant again, because I had one last time was it in June, you guys, that we were doing the planting and the garden stuff? Because when we were doing the gardening themes, I was like, I'm planting a garden. I'm definitely planting a garden. I bought basil. I bought, thyme. I bought all these herbs that were already like started for me. They were already like grown. Oh, I got some paint on my shirt. I guess we see the downside of the markers. You can't be flopping them around as you're working, because they might splash on your clothes. But that basil plant didn't make it. I'm sorry to report that she didn't make it. Unfortunately, I never got around to repotting them, and they just expired in my kitchen. I feel so bad. I'm sorry to the plants. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of detail to these. I want to make them look like, you know, they're still drawings, right? I don't know what I'm gonna do here, but we're gonna try to make it look like something. I don't know what I'm doing. we'll just see. We're going to figure it out as we go. Right there. I want to make it look like they're moving. There. Okay, and then I'll do some of the same color for the skin. Let me put this here. I think I'm going to I'll move this over here. Wait, this, maybe I'll keep it there. I don't really feel like I need it, but maybe it'll give me nicer line work when I'm doing the, sorry, I'm trying to find a good spot to clip this just because my paper's getting a little wavy. Just to keep it down. Maybe it'll give me a nicer line when I'm ready to do the line work. Right? There's my iced coffee that I just made for the afternoon. I already had a morning iced coffee. Probably shouldn't be, oh, I was going to do the arms. Thank you. Something funny is happening here, so we're going to try to figure that out. Like, you know, again, like I said, I'm not a great figure drawer, so I'm just going to try my best, and I'm going to be patient with myself as I learn to draw figures a little bit more, you know, a little better. Put some color in the pots maybe. Let's do this one. So I also try to think about balance, and if I have a lot of this color on this side, I'll try to bring some over. So I'm always looking for those places that I can, you know, distribute. And there's no rules that say we cannot bring another color in. You want another color, bring it. This is your journal. You do what you want. Okay. So I think I'm going to stop right there, and then I'm going to do a couple of things. So number one, I discovered that if I erase my pencil after I put my micron, then the micron kind of looks a little like faded. So I want to like erase stuff. Maybe I should do, let's try the Fudenosuke, because that one, I feel like I've used it. And this way this still looks pretty wet here. So I'm going to try not to dip my hand in there. But I wanted to draw this before I erase all those pencil marks. I could probably just make them up if I need to. But I want to, let's make that little, what do you call that? Displacement, water displacement. I want to make it look like the straw is like inside. And I always like to make these like little hints of ice cubes. So I don't draw any boxes, I just kind of like hint at it. And I'll put some writing in here too, because I do like to include writing. But let's go ahead and erase some of these words and sketches, and I need a color back here. I didn't put one in there. Let's put a color back here before I forget. And I'm going to make sense of it in a bit. It's going to feel a little bit more sensical and once I bring those lines in. Or if you don't want to do the line work, I mean, you could just be a little more careful about drawing in all the edges. I'm again very like loosey-goosey, so for me, I don't feel like I need to do like very precise coloring. Okay, so right there, getting rid of some of these sketches in the background. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem for you to leave them. I just don't really like them. Like personally, I don't want them there. This seems like it's wet, but it's not. Okay, excellent. So this I'm going to have to redraw because I'm getting rid of a lot right there. And that's kind of like the whole outline, so it's okay. We'll figure it out. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and outline. Get rid of this for now so I can do a little more precision. And I love to just kind of like make it up again. And I am, again, drawing from memory, so my drawings are definitely loose and a little goofy, which I'm here for. I like that. I don't want them to be too precise. It's just kind of not my style. I love them to be a little raw. And I did have words in mine, so I don't have room for the words anymore, but I'm going to put them in somewhere at some point in time. I do really like this plastic nib. And so I'm glad now that I have like something to like the terminology to find that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Gina, because I didn't really know that we could find that, like that was a thing that we could get for our microns. Okay. Trying to define the edges of the body now, which can be a little, I don't know. This, I mean, again, I'm not a great, great drawer, so not of figures. So they will be however they are going to be. As long as it kind of looks people-y, person-y, I think that's enough. That's fine. I don't really like these little like mannequin hands though. I would like to change them a little bit. I always give myself a little nose. My daughter was like, you should put hair in them. And I was like, no. I don't know why. I was like not concerned about having hair in there. I'm going to put my mat back here, even though I think my mat was going the other direction, but that's okay. I also thought like maybe I should put ears because it looks like something's missing. And I do love to put like a little pink nose. Maybe some pink cheeks. I think that's cute. Could add hair. I was making them into all my little yoga girls into stickers. And I did put hair on them. But I never actually finished the sticker sheet. So maybe I'll show you that on another Crafternoon. I'll show you what I've started on that one. And how maybe that's a good one that we should do. Because I've been talking about showing you how I turn my drawings and doodles into stickers, and maybe that will be one that I can show you. Here's my basil. That is going to make it this time. She's definitely going to do great. She's going to thrive. I'm going to be having basil on every single meal because I'm going to have so much basil. I have had success with basil before. I just haven't had it in a while. It's been a minute. You can see that I'm just drawing straight over the marker so that I can define the shapes. And sometimes I kind of follow the lines that I've drawn as a guide, but sometimes I don't. Do as much as you need. Sometimes I'm making corrections as I go. There. Right here. I want them to feel like they're in this pot. And then we'll see how the pen looks after I erase. Yeah, this definitely is like the pen. The plastic nib is the one that I like. And I'm going to definitely look for that because then I would get the benefits of the waterproof pen, but with the beauty of the plastic nib, which gives me, in my opinion, a better line. So excited. I'm going to look for these right after our stream today. Right there. Drawing the stickers too. Yes. Okay, great, Molly. I'm glad that you like that. Then we can do that one. Molly gave the PN definition. Oh, thank you guys so much. I mean, I am just so grateful to have artists here who, you can share what you know and we can share together and then we all benefit. Yes, maybe we'll do that one, Molly, I think. I never thought about what the PN stood for. All I know is I liked it much better than the regular nibs. Yeah, and I don't know, in case anybody is wondering what the heck we're talking about. So this is a PN, that's a plastic nib, and this is like the felt tip. So I don't like this one because it feels too square for me. And this one gives me a little bit more control, right? So that's my issue. That's all it came down to. Some people actually like the square, and that's cool. It's just not, it's not for me. Okay, so I was gonna put here planting. We're gonna do some repotting with my mom. Right there. We'll do that after this. And so I'm going to leave that space there dedicated to writing some words. Making this little diagram of a Popeye foot flexing. Point and flex. Okay. So I'm going to write a couple of things in here. I do love lettering also, so whenever I include letters, I always like to kind of play with the fonts and the sizes and the scales. Erica posted a pic of her booth complete with banner. Yes, I did. If you're not following me on Instagram, I am on Instagram, erikabeeswax, and I would love for you to come and join me there. I was actually thinking, you guys, tell me your thoughts on this. I don't know how many of you guys are on Instagram, but I was thinking about doing, on Instagram, you can create a channel, and I had started thinking about doing it, and I just never actually followed through with it. But it's because I saw a really cute video of, I think it was applique, and I was like, oh, it would be super cool if I could just share this with my patrons. It wasn't my video, it was someone else's, but I thought it would be really cool for us to have a place where we could share like cool things we're seeing online. We oftentimes, we see things that are cool, but we just kind of forget about them. They get lost in the forever changing and flowing algorithm, right? So I thought maybe it would be a cool thing to have a channel where we can, or I could share pictures. I don't know if it's able to be like communal, but I could share like videos that I think are really cool or they're related to the things we're doing. I think that could be something fun. I don't know. You tell me your thoughts on that. I mean, do we need more stuff on Instagram? Not really, but I thought maybe it might be a good way to share those things. Okay, let's see. What else do I want to put on here? Now, when I do lettering, I do love to do like outlines for like not everything, because that kind of takes forever, but I do like to do it on like impact words, things that, mean more. So I will often just outline them like this. And this is where that perfect little like pointy plastic nib helps me, I think. Now I'm not planting my mom, I'm planting with, there we go, with my mom. So again, that little shift in like fonts and scale, I think it adds visual interest, right? Let's see. This was, I don't remember the name of this pose where you sit. Is it, it's not hero. I don't know, but this seated pose really, like, man, I was feeling the stretch on the quads. And I'll put a little bit in here. Move these markers out of the way, especially because now I have like this devoted color palette here. And so I like to do a little bit of drawing. I like to do a little bit of writing. And so I feel like I'm combining like diary writing and planner with doodles, right? With drawing. So I'll put here like seated pose, really needed that quad stretch. I think on, Sunday at our market, it was just like standing on your feet for like, what was it, like 12 hours? So I feel like I really needed like a decompression. I would love to be better at lettering. Yes, right? I mean, I love lettering. So, Kim, I will share with you on my Patreon. I have a bunch of lettering resources because there was a time where I did a lot of lettering for on our Patreon, but I have some PDFs that are about lettering that you can download. They are like downloadable PDF workbooks that I make. I make one every month for my patrons, and they're all about different topics, but I can try to find it for you and post it for you. But if you search for like lettering and under it's called art homework, I'm sure you can find it. I also have a video on my YouTube that is about that. So if you look there, you can find it too. I love it. And the little pom-pom trim, thanks. Thank you so much for checking it out. Yes, Kim shared that with us. I got hit with all the Chihuahua videos. Of course. That's right. That's the problem, that we get distracted, right? Let me add a little bit of text. Sorry, if I'm writing, I literally can't do any talking at that time. It's like I can only do one or the other. Now, here I made these little stickers here that are just different facial expressions for me to use here. So I'm putting here that this flossing the nerve has been very painful, but I feel like really important and necessary for me. So I put a little sad face, and I just wanted to be able to like put a little face on to describe the emotions or the feelings there. Now, planting with mom. I'm just going to put here, Bagu's arrived. Bagu. I'm going to use the markers again so that I can outline these into like little blocky letters. I print my own stickers. I mean, I was trying to make some planner stickers, so I had a whole plan for this. I haven't quite ironed out all the problems yet. So when I do, I will share them with you. But I was really, like, you can see my journal, right? Like, I have stuff that I want to be able to put in there. Like, I use faces a lot, or I use, like how we made the stamp. I wanted to have something that I could just, like, pop it in there. So I was making them, and I didn't quite get them ready. But I have a bunch of little doodles of, I made other stuff, too. I don't know if I have any to show you, but I made like little, like things that represent your day, like car and all sorts of things. So yes, I really want to make my own planner stickers. That's what I want to do. That's my goal, right? Okay, Bagu's arrived. And I love the print I got. So now I'm trying to figure out, I was originally, I said, look, I'm going to get 2. And I'm going to see what the size is, right? Because I don't have a Bagu store that I can go in and like go test the sizes. So I was like, let me see if this one's going to be the right size for me, or if I need the bigger one. So I got both of them, and my plan was to return one. But now I like them both, you guys. What do I do? Okay. Now, one other thing I just want to add is a little bit of white. Sometimes I like to have white in there. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, let's get rid of this pencil-y cup. Especially for the coffee. I always like to put a little bit of white on the ice. I don't know. Maybe it's just like reflecting the light. I'm not sure why, but I'm doing it. Put a little bit on there. Maybe erase this right here. There we go. And I do see a little... I don't like this, how it doesn't quite touch the figure there, so I'm going to correct that right there. Okay. But here, I love them both. So sometimes I will end up with like these awkward spaces that I'm trying to write into. So I would also say that like if you encounter this like, oh no, I ran out of space, I don't have room to write, just write like so that they look like it goes behind the other drawings, right? I love them both so much. I just stop right here when I reach the head and I just continue the word right after, right? I mean, no one needs to be able to read this but me, so that's all that matters, right? You love those. What a great idea to make, yes, my own planner stickers, right? Well, I do a lot of markets, and I will tell you, this is a little delayed, but I want to say it was like 2 years ago at one of my markets, one of my customers was like, do you have any planner stickers? And I didn't at the time. And so I was like, I really need to try to make that a priority. I just haven't done it. Tristan. Okay. Tristan, I have to show it to you. I got the blurred gingham, and that's the one I'm not sure about keeping. It's huge though. It's the cloud one. I thought maybe I could use it like for actually traveling, but YouTube needs react emojis, right? Why don't we have that here? Oh, shout out to Tristan, who's Monklin here. Look at this cute bag that Tristan made. And I just like maximalized it a little further. But oh my gosh, the trinket bag, my favorite bag, Tristan. That's Monklin. Go find them on Instagram, Moonhowler Press. Thank you so much for visiting. I'm so glad I saw your message. I know last time I missed it. Okay, so I have my doodles. I like them. You know, there's still like some funky areas that maybe I would like to fix. I'm gonna put some little freckles on my face here. I have some pencil lines to erase. I'll do that too. Clean it up a little. And then I like to write in all my text that I had there. Let me see. Okay, so now I'm just going to go over this and let's see if I like my handwriting better, because I was not loving how my handwriting looks with the micron. On my to-do list, I already did this. Book my hair appointment. I already did that. I need a haircut, a proper haircut. I am notorious, you guys, for just cutting my own hair when the mood strikes. And I literally need a professional to just look at it in the back and like tell me, is it uneven? Can you even it out? Because I cut my hair all the time without a care in the world. I don't care. I am impulsive. And thanks for the shout out, just popping in. Okay, are you on lunch break? So glad you got to come in, and thank you so much for doing that. Okay, I had to schedule a car service appointment, which I already did. I'm so proud of myself. Look at me. Knocking things off my list. I put this down early in the morning so I wouldn't forget, but I've already completed them. I haven't done the repotting the plants. Repot plants. So I'm going to go get some soil after this. And journaling done. I did not do my meditation today, but I'd like to. Maybe I'll do it later on today. I'm going to just write it behind the straw. The straw got in the way, and I think the straw needs to be in front, so I'm going to leave it there. So journaling, we're doing that now. Bada bing, bada boom. This morning I took a class called Yoga Suavecito. Very good class. It's like slow and like really intentional. So the instructor's like, move your leg to the right just a little bit, an inch up, or like really helpful with like getting the poses right, which has been very good for me because I'm not like an expert yogi like so many people that I'm seeing in those are like really good at it, and I'm learning. Crafternoon happened today at 2. So I'd already jotted that down, but now I'm going to make it solid. Yeah, I think this is going to be a better pen for me. The only thing is that like sometimes I like to use my water-based markers, and I don't want them smearing the ink. Yeah, this one kind of still gets a little faded from the eraser, which, you know, oh well. But it's not terrible. It's still pretty black, but this eraser also might be very powerful. I think it's a pretty good eraser. For a cheapy pencil I got at the Children's Museum. This cute. Isn't this such a cute pencil? It's mechanical. I got it at the Children's Museum in Austin. And I mean, I like it so much, but it has a really good eraser. It's like not bad. Okay. Just getting rid of some of those little scrappy lines I still kind of have hanging around. And I like to, I mean, it's not necessary because there's already a date there, but I always like the aesthetic of the stamp. So I'm going to put a stamp on there. What's today? The 14th. One of my favorite dopamine hits, writing down things on my, yes, yes, Molly, you're a girl after my own heart. You know what it is. I mean, even if you do it, you should write it down so you can be proud of it. And also, I would say it's cool to like have that as like a reminder. I always say like, one day my daughter's going to get to read all my diary pages and she's going to be like, "Wow, she bought 3 other bagoos on that day." Yeah, she will know these things, right? But I like the idea of keeping this as a record. It's a record of things that happened. Let's just try this real quick to see how it's going to look. Oh, that didn't smear. You guys, it didn't smear. It looks great. It's water-based, but it doesn't say it's like pigment ink. Isn't pigment usually like waterproof? I don't know. But okay, this might be and the good thing is I have like 30 of these. So these are my favorite pens for a while there. I used them really religiously and then I forgot about them and I was using something else. But this is I think the hard tip and the soft tip. Hard tip, soft tip. The green one is the soft tip, which is just a little bit more flexible. So I guess you can get a little bit more of a brush kind of line. Pigment is usually permanent. Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. I was like, I know with the stamp pads, that's usually how it'll be. One of my favorite dopamine hits, let's see. She'll be obsessed with your art. Thank you so much. Well, you guys, we are reaching the end of our time, but this is kind of like how I do things in my journal. So I don't know if you have a system. You can see I have 2 pages that I need to get to. So I'm going to try to do this at some point. But I really enjoy the flexibility of drawing a lot of different things. Like, I mean, I didn't have to look at any plants to draw these, so that was kind of nice. I can just, make it up. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it gets to be just a little bit like, like doodles, like you're just doodling. It's very low pressure. It's low stress, because again, for someone like me who really normally usually relies a lot on reference images, this is very fun because I don't have to worry too much about making things perfect. Like, it doesn't matter. It is just what it is, right? And so this has been like a really fun way for me to doodle without references and to record stuff without like worrying too much about how I'm going to draw them. So I just kind of stack and layer and let it be. And I really like the way they look. I'm hoping, I keep going. It's only July, so I have all of this to go. And hopefully I will continue my practice and, fill up my whole book. So there are some pages, where I forgot. And I just kind of like it got away from me. February is a very busy month at school. But other stuff, like sometimes I write a lot. Like I'll just, I know I have some in here. I'll just write words. And then other times I draw. And then sometimes like there I'll just write, or sometimes I just paint, or I draw and then I write around it. So this right here, this is just gouache. So I don't have to worry about writing, but at least I like the fact that I touch the page, I touch the page on that day. I put something in there. I enjoyed that, and that always, like, it's a time for me to just reflect on what's happening in my life. Let me put a very, very happy girl over here with the bagoos. Right there. This one can go on this other page. It's like zoned out. Yesterday was such a wacky day. Like, the thing fell on my foot and I immediately burst into tears. It was so painful. It just shocked me. And I just felt like, and even like remembering it, I have like tingling back, just reminding me of that. And today I feel better. I was like, oh no, I broke my foot, yada, yada. No, it feels fine today. Just a little bruised, a little beat up. But otherwise, it was a really great weekend. It was busy, but I'm glad to be back home in the studio and drawing with you guys. So we're going to be doing another Crafternoon on Thursday. if you enjoy an hour of time to just kind of like make a little bit together, come and join me on Thursday. I think we'll probably do the stickers. I can show you how I take these images and I usually just photograph them. I do have a scanner, so maybe I'll do it like proper and scan them. I just feel like when I scan, I don't get the colors exactly how I like them. So, especially because I like fluorescent colors. So, whenever I use fluorescents, they don't scan right. They photograph right, but they don't scan right. So, usually I just take a picture and then I take it into my iPad and then I can show you how I do that. And then I'll show you how I make my own stickers. But I think that would be such a fun thing to do. So let's make plans to do that on Thursday. I hope you'll make plans to join me on Thursday for another Crafternoon. I will be doing something different that day, and I'll post the video link on Patreon for you to get to. And usually I put a little bit of information about what I'm going to do, but I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants on this. So if I come up with an idea, I just like want to do it. I don't want to have like a schedule per se. But maybe in the future we'll have a schedule and we can all be prepared for that. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It's 2:57, so we're going to wrap up here. I appreciate you guys joining me and being on the chat and chatting with me, keeping me company while I draw. If you do try this, I would love to see it. So you can tag me on Instagram. I'm erikabeeswax. Or if you go to my Patreon, it is Flynn Craft House, FLYNN. CRAFTHOUSE, Flynn Craft House. We have a Patreon chat. You can chat with me there. You can post pictures there that's for patrons only. Or, you can just like lurk. That's cool too. I think sometimes it's really nice to just kind of take in the info and use what you want from there. So I hope to see you guys again on Thursday. Y'all have a wonderful day and we will talk again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.